Sorry, reclining my seat. Um, yeah, I don't know how to start this one, so I'm just gonna do it. I didn't post one for about a week. A lot of stuff happened. Maybe I'll talk a little bit about it to tell you kind of how, life events can inflict on your own emotional security. And I smoke, so I'll probably smoke. But yeah, so like this 24 hours, I lost a bank card, called and canceled, and I didn't have money for like a day and a half, and was going off what I had, and I smoke. So I was like, oh shit, right? So that transpires, and I cancel it, get it expedited. It's from Texas, and like so, last night was a big harbinger. I went to meet up with somebody, and long story short, I was talking to two people at one time and didn't know, and both people showed up. And I'm like, man, I'm a man. I'm gonna tell them to their face, like whatever's gonna happen. Like, so that was one instance that started this whole fiasco of my 24 hours. And I had gotten home after. I'm not gonna get too much in detail about what happened after, but anyway. So long story short, that was a really bad, epic moment for me, and I ended up chilling like 3 hours. Chick, whatever, only get me to drop her off at someone else's house because that's all she needed was a ride. Yeah. And so I get home and I didn't know I had a psychotic neighbor, like really worse than us. And yeah, so long story short, she's bleeding out the nose and the mouth. It looked like the mouth, but I guess the blood trickled down to her lower lip. And then she had all over her shirt. And I'm like, what? And I seen broken noses and stuff, but it was just a weird kind of drip. It wasn't like a constant. I'm like, oh shit, that's different. Like is she having a brain hemorrhage or something? And then she, at first, says, well, you live across the hall and you must have taken my box. I've been outside for 6 hours. I try to stay outside. And long story short, what happened was she comes up and knocks on the door because I got tinted windows, and knocks on the door like, you must have taken my box. I'm like, what box? So I end up in a fucking dumpster. I love cussing because it punctuates. I don't use it like I need a lack of words, but I end up in this dumpster, man, and I'm halfway in it, and I'm a big boy. I'm not fat, but you know what I mean. I'm 6'4", 209 pounds or something. So I'm halfway in this dumpster and I can't get out because I'm already like head over. I'm reaching more for boxes to check, and because she told me if she didn't have her meds, she'd die. So my next thing was like, all right, let me get the fuck out of this dumpster. And it took every merit in me to get out. Like, I just grabbed the sides by clinch mode, pressure, and just, got out. And, I'm like, well, I need to take you inside to see dad. He's a doctor, he's, a psychologist, whatever. And he knows all the vital, he knows how to just read people that way. I mean, he's better than any doctor I've ever met in my life. And I'm blessed to have him. But I brought her inside and I said, look, let's just talk to him for a little bit. I'll be right with you because she's already in a manic mood. And, she's telling all kinds of stories. I kind of absent myself. I left and went back to the car. I can't get my key out of the ignition. If anybody has help with that, let me know. I was gonna get some WD 40 and just try to see if I can get it out. Um, so she goes tirade on him, like in a tirade, like in a vocal, like espionage kind of thing. Like, what? Don't even know what's going on here, kind of thing. So I just want to reflect on it. Like, and I ended up bringing her over to a neighbor's house, that she said her mom knew. And I said, I dealt with her 2 hours. Dad dealt with her one, and I had apologized to Lisa this morning because I was like, I'm so sorry for doing that, bringing her over to you. And there was two things that transpired in that, like during this 24-hour event, missing card, bad date set up, and then trying to confront that and deal with it and say, look, I'll give you $50 and whatever time you wasted. Like, I'm not trying to. I just didn't know. I was working out, doing barbells, and I took a shower, brushed my teeth, and every time I pick up the phone, I thought it was the same person, but it wasn't. But I didn't open the profile and all that crap. Because both people from the same area, like the same neighborhood. So, of course, I wouldn't know unless I looked. So, but there's a couple things I learned out of that. And one was how people that are so injured and hurt, whether it's PTSD or CPTSD, they feel this need to fulfill other people's pleasure principle, like make them happy, you'll be happy. And that's where the dumpster scene came in. Like, dude, I'm in a fucking dumpster. Didn't realize it till later. Like, that wasn't like and nobody else would have jumped in a dumpster for me. If I begged and said, hey man, my medicine's in there, and it was, they would not go in there and get it. Right? So I kind of self-reflect and say, well, shit, that was bad, dude. Why do you do that shit to yourself? Why do you do it to yourself? And then why do you have to feel like you need to be the ambulance? And I did offer to call the ambulance. She's like, oh, you can't call the ambulance because then the cops got to come, and then my mom's got to come, and then the doctor's got to be on the phone, and all four people have to. She's just off a rocking chair, or whatever you want to say. But it's just a point of hindsight. And, I'm going through financial crises because I lost a car. I'm doing this, that. And then the bad date situation, like, like, holy shit. So it's always a space of inadequacy that, because that's a CPTSD thing. So people who don't know, CPTSD just means long standing complex. It means it's like you can't find the trigger point. It wasn't a car wreck. It wasn't a bang clash scenario. When you've been shot and like, oh shit, and it's horrible. But CPTSD is much worse. It's long-standing, enduring occurrences of torture, mental neglect, abuse, whatever. So it's long-standing, and it has to do a lot with your neurodevelopment when you're young, right? So, like, I developed a little differently. People who go through everybody has PTSD now, I guess. You talk to people like, I got it too. I'm like, yeah, you know. But yeah, so in these little short scenes, I'm trying to extrapolate. I can kind of see where it's like, dude, what are you doing to yourself? You're doing it to yourself, dude. You know, but the way I'm gonna react is always gonna be the same. Like somebody yells help, I'm the first one out of the car. And I'm not really endangered or fear or anything like that. Like, dude, I'll deal with it on its face. That's one thing I'm good at is like if something transpires, like my dad was cooking something probably about 2 weeks ago. And I got him this Pyrex, let me turn this light on so you guys can see me. and I got him this Pyrex. It's just a glass casserole dish of sort, but it's like kind of a bigger one. And he thought he could put it on the stove, and that shit self combusted, dude. Like seriously, it took me 3.5 hours to pick up. Like no bullshit. Like powder and glass everywhere. He didn't get cut somehow. I'm like, because it blew up right in front of him, and I was like right near sleep. Because I always fall asleep when he cooks. It's just like a sensitive thing for me. I'm like, I feel comfortable. Because nobody can cook food if you're stressed, dude. Like, you're not going to cook with, hyenas circling you and shit. So, usually when someone cooks, I'm just like, you know. But yeah, it exploded. And I jumped up like a grenade popped off, but it wasn't the same as I wake up. Meaning that there was no aftermath. There was no ruminating on it. There was no like, oh my God, I got to sit with this for 3 hours or something. It was more, I got up and handled it. Like, dude, I got it. Get out of the way. Get your ass on the couch. Where's your flip flops? And intended to it. And I didn't have any issue with that. So I always tell people I'm the best guy in a foxhole, but I'm not the best guy to fox hunt, you know. And again, me, I don't come up with plans to create content or something. I'm just talking openly. Maybe it's just a personal diary you guys can listen to. Uh, but yeah, so, when all these things transpired, and I kind of learned a lot from it. Like, and I really had bad times. Like, I was going to pick the fun up, but I didn't have the energy to, man. Like, I didn't have it in me to do it. So, and there was a lot of times I'm like, man, let me show people my bad side. So they fucking know, like, yo, this is a real life crisis or event. But it's just like I didn't have it in me to do it. Like I didn't, and I eventually, hopefully, if it keeps going in the same pattern, because again, you guys know my history a little bit, 13 years of it, but I'm learning a big difference between CPTSD and PTSD. Like it's just, like that BAM should have shut me off, and like just went into war mode. Like, dude, I'm yanking everything, and then it was actually a CPTSD thing, where it led into a lot of neurological upbringings, neglect, non-responsible. So I was trying to be responsible on the dates. I was trying to do this, and like I started realizing a lot of things in those pictures. Like there's some things I can mentally correct. Like I'm not, and these people knock on my window. Like I'm out here. I told you I got 10 windows, but they'll come up and knock on the window, and like their problems become mine instantaneously. But if I did it to anybody else, they'd probably just sit in their car and call the cops. Like, yo, this guy's knocking on my window. You know? And so I'm like, what am I doing to myself? Why do I keep doing it to myself? And it's self-worth, self-value. Or I can negate those two terms. And I can say inadequate, uh, just worthlessness, a need to feel appreciated. Like I can turn it into something it really is me just always wanted to feel wanted and accepted and liked. And when you get older, it's really hard to do. Like I tell people when they're young, live. Don't stay in the same community. Get out, man. Like just go. You can get a job anywhere you want to go. Even now, before AI hits, you can still like go to New York right now, LA right now, and still bounce back and still have homes and family and friends and connections. But when you get over like 40, 45, I'm 45, yeah, it becomes like a lot more difficult. Like, yeah, I'm just going to do that because there's nobody around. They all have lives. They're all married. Their lives too tied down, bogged down. There's no openings. You know what I mean? So that need and imperative to feel needed is, it's consequential if it doesn't pan out. And there's a lot of times, sometimes it might, where I'm like, okay, well, and I feel a little better about myself, but it's only based on other people's assessment, like their wish fulfillment. They're like, if they're happy, I'm happy. If they're safe, I'm safe. And I keep doing this extrapolation where it's like this for that, but it's that for this. It's kind of the opposite, but it's like if they're good, I'm good. Like, how I said it, but. And plus, I'm going to smoke in front of you guys for the first time, and I hope it doesn't trigger anybody. So, trigger warning, I am going to smoke. But I really did want to make a video again because I didn't do it for a week. And I wanted to do it, like, honestly, in my soul, it's just my energy level. Like, I would have been on the couch lopsided, like, really, really bad. And maybe some people need to see it so they know, like, what they're going through is not abnormal. Like, we always think it is because we think it's just us that suffer this. It's just me. Like, oh my God, there's a neurotic process happening, or there's, some kind of cancer infliction, there's some kind of brain tumor, there's some kind of something, the health scares that come into it, that makes you feel a certain kind of way. And it does a lot just to see someone else go through it. Like, it really does. Because the people that helped me, and I'm not saying help me, it took me 13 years to research and people and just listen to every avenue I could and like try to figure it out on my own because no doctor was apparently going to help me. It's hard to get into a psychiatrist. And if you do, it's $700 every 2 months or every 2 weeks or whatever it was. But yeah, I mean, when I started seeing people like talking about their stories, I just didn't like it in the past tense. Like, yeah, I've been through this, man, and like, I mean, you can kind of tell they're sincere, but it doesn't help somebody else here like you recovered and you're great and like, man, I used to have that shit all the time, and it doesn't help. It helps hearing somebody's like, yo, I have it too. Like on a massive scale. Like, not just a quip, not just, okay, I gotta go speak or I gotta go to work and my hands are sweaty and like I don't feel like being here and I don't relate to those fucking people. Like, let me sit to myself and you know what I mean? But at the same time, I don't want to be alone either, so let me be in a work environment where there's people around, so if I collapse on the floor, at least somebody will call 911. Hopefully somebody's still smart enough these days to do that. But so my whole take, like when I started doing these videos, was to try to show people like it's real, it exists, it happens to everybody that's inflicted with it. And do I have good moments? Yes. Like, I had 2 good days out of the last 7. The last 4, I couldn't even talk, and I wanted to pick the phone up and like, but I don't want to be on a couch on a cushion trying to give people inspiration. But at the same time, next time it happens, I'm picking up the phone. I'm just gonna be like lay sideways on my couch and like, like, because I have to sleep near a door. I gotta physically see the door. My house designs are crazy. Like, my couch always faces my door, and I'll stay on the couch, and I got 5 different weapons near me and shit, like fling, stab, shoot, whatever I gotta do, like, and nothing's ever happened, like, where I had to utilize those tools. So, like, 90% of it does live in my head, but they're still fucking real. And the symptoms are fucking real. You know, like a lot of people would say, like, well, you think this way, and like it's an emotional, like a cognitive pain. No, I mean, this makes my chest lift. This makes parts of my body hurt. Like real pain. Like, oh shit, what's that? What's that? Oh shit. And then you're stirring with thoughts, and then you feel like your brain's gonna pop, and then you feel all these weird things. Those are physical, man. And I can go into a backlog of history where I went before court and tried to get disability, and I know I can get it, but I didn't know that you can't qualify. Like under Biden, it's not Trump, right? But you can't get by with PTSD because everybody has it. Because everybody has an event that just so traumatized them, like, oh my God, they cussed me out. Or I got slapped by a bitch I called a nigger. Yeah, and the black bitch hit you. Like, what did you think was going to happen? But they have PTSD because of that. Now they're more scared of them. And I don't mean to say words inappropriately, and they might ban this whole video just for that. But it's just things I've seen in real life. So I hope YouTube don't ban me for it. Like, man, go outside, YouTube. But yeah, so alongside all that, the physical pain that comes from it, and it's not like arthritis. It is like, if you've been through it. Yeah, somebody's walking by me. Give me a second. I still got that knee-jerk reaction to make sure I know who it is who's passing me. No, so like the physical pain, discombobulated lungs, like pressure in your liver, like organs feel like they're failing, high heart rates, chest pains, bowel movements, like all this crap. And the judge asked me, she's like, well, what physical pain do you have? And I'm like, well, what can't the nervous system do to you? Right? Like, so then again, I'm talking to somebody who's a judge who studied her whole life to do whatever she does. And then I'm talking to somebody, again, astute, smart, sagacious, whatever words you want to use. But I'm talking to her about a mental illness that she's never experienced. And do I have physical pain? Fuck. Like anybody who goes through this stuff, dude, they know, like it's horrible. It's unbearable. It's just like, and then you got the thoughts, and then your head's tuning, and you've just always this knee jerk, almost ready to fucking die mode, man. Like, and it's that. So I don't know if I'm making the appropriate video, and again, I don't know my content. I just get on here and start spilling my guts about everything, like all of it. But I still haven't had one comment. So I don't know where to really direct it, like how to meander, around the roads to help people. But all I know categorically, absolutely, whatever the word is that if you see someone going to it, you feel a lot better. And if somebody's not yelling at you when you try to go online and go to Google, search and say panic attack, and then they just sit there and like they're yelling, they got a microphone, and they're just like, this is why this happened. And I'm like, I can't listen to someone yell at me while I'm going through this shit, dude. It's got to be a very warm voice. And it's got to be calm, like it. And 90% of the content out there is that, like my whole thing. Like if someone's going through it right now, because I'm not. I'm gonna smoke a cigarette here in a minute, but My thing would be is just use my calm voice, talk to people, juxtapose our positions. Like I can't tell you yours, but if I can give you mine and you can listen, let me talk you to sleep. Let me get your heart rate down. Let me tell you that, okay, this does pass. We've been through it a million times. Everybody says that shit. But nobody will tell you they're always new. Nobody will tell you that. Nobody will tell you like you can have 8-9 hour panic attacks. Nobody will tell you that. Nobody will tell you like the real things that I suffered and still can't find qualifiers for. You know, there's doctors out there that I've talked to and be like, yeah, dude, you're bad. You know, and they know. And it's because they read like, you know, Dr. Van der Kolk or, you know, like New Age people, you know, or Lacan, Zizek, whatever. You know, I keep going back to names and shit. And when I do read, it is philosophy or history. So I'm always trying to learn. And I keep telling people that distraction is a good thing, but it's not good that you always have your phone in your hand for a safety module. Because I do it. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. Like, I'm the first to pick up the phone. I'm like, just some easy app that I don't have to think. And I'm just like, with music on in the background and, you know, and chatting with people at the same time and got a TV on at the 4 times. So I'm multitasking with distraction. But I don't think it's healthy as far as rehabilitation or like not even rehabilitation. We don't need rehabilitated. We need to get readjusted. But it seems damn near impossible, doesn't it? It just does. So yeah, I'm gonna smoke this cigarette. Let me get them out. But I want content, even at minimum. If I can get you to go to sleep, all you gotta do is put it on the channel. And I think I got 5 videos up. They're about 30 minutes each. And just listen. Listen to the voice. Listen to somebody going through it with you, and I swear to God, you go to sleep. I swear you will, because every time I have, and I've been real bad, like real bad. Bad. And it's been through people who had a soft voice that just spoke like a normal person, and I didn't feel so alone. And I was like, all right, well, there's someone there. Even if it was through the phone, even if it's through the channel, like I just felt like, okay, I'm just gonna listen, and I'm gonna shut my eyes and really penetrate what they're trying to say to me and what might help. And that always made me go to sleep faster. Not faster, like just possibly sleep. Because I'd have them in waves, and like I want to be able to sleep. I mean, it'd be days. You know, I talked in my first video where I was so aloof and like 7 days no sleep. I don't eat much, you know, so it's like I eat once every 3 days, maybe once every 7. My stool's like once every week. Like it's kind of that way because your whole body shuts down, the internal parts of your body. Your liver shuts down, your lungs shut down. That's why you're short of breath when you have a panic attack. It's because these things in your stomach, they all shut down because your body doesn't need it when it thinks it's under duress or threat. And so when you're feeling all those symptoms and like your other organs are carrying it, so your heart rate's going to go up because it's pushing more blood and like, yo, do this, you know, whatever that is, run, flight, freeze, fawn, whatever the words are. You know me, I call it the fucking. And once all that happens, like, dude, yeah, this is bad. You know, and there's nothing going to calm me down except having a beer. And again, I'm not a counselor, so I can't tell you that. But there's a secret I used to utilize, and it was always keep a beer or two in the trunk or on you or in a bag or something, because you can get extremely bad in a situation. And I have diazepam, I have, certain medicines that help, but nothing hits faster than me chugging some nasty beer and holding your nose up. And that's a different trick. If you put your head up and look at the sky like you're going to sneeze, it's impossible to puke, it's impossible to sneeze, and it's impossible, well, yeah, gag. So if you drink a nasty fucking beer and you're chugging it, it's like an 8% or 6%, which is a little higher than a Bud Light. I think Bud Light's 4.5 or something like that. But when you take it and you feel like you're just going to put it up, but you have to get it in your system, it hits within like 7 minutes. Real talk. And nobody wants to let you know that, because diazepam works the same region of the brain as the alcohol. It's not whiskey. It's not like, okay, I'm going to, like take scotch or whiskey or whatever people drink. I'm just trying to get through the moment. And I've always kept like 2 beers in a bag in the back seat of my truck. And, I go to the car and I just chug a fucking beer. Now I want to take a diazepam with it. I'll be real with you. I kind of separated those because I knew what the beer would do. Like, I just need about 10 minutes, some soft cello music, and it sounds corny, white boy, whatever, cool. But I listen to calm music and I chug a damn beer, and if one didn't work, I do another. And I couldn't stand the taste of it. I still can't. But I'd hold my head up and breathe through my nose, and it was impossible to puke it back up because my body was just like, nah, I'm not taking this shit. And I'm like, yes, you are, because that's the part of the body that's not working, is the stomach and the liver, and your gut, they shut down. So I learned to hold my nose up and like, okay, just breathe, just sit there and like chill, listen to soft music, try to distract yourself whatever possible. And I'm only giving you advice because I know I probably can get in trouble for everything I'm saying. But the fact of it helps one person. One. You know how much it would help me to know I helped somebody else go through it? When you experience it for so long, it's like, dude, I just want to help somebody else, man. Like, let them know. You hear all these flashback videos, or I went to the doctor, like, I don't know, like 13 years ago. And I'm like, okay, so what do I do to get rid of it? Do I work out more? Do I, whatever? Nope. You got the rest of your life. And that shit stuck in my head like a plague. And I still kind of feel it's the truth. But I don't think it's the truth because I'm like, dude, I beat it down. Like, there was a point, I'm going to get a little TMI, so pre-warning, But when I was shitting in Kroger bags in my condo on my second floor, and I couldn't leave the room, and the food was getting delivered like a prison, like they set it outside the door, that was a real experience for me. And counselors coming over because I couldn't leave the house, and they were asking, how do you live? How do you live? I'm like, you know how I fucking live? Because it was the same thing like 2 times a week. It was just like brutal. I'm like, I don't want to be bothered. Like, fuck. I was counting pennies out on my stomach, like just anything at night, because I was up all night by myself, and I'm just like stacking pennies, like, you okay? Even though my whole body felt like I was dying. And he finally said it again. He's like, so just get to the point. And I went upstairs and I grabbed 4 bags of shit, 15 giant 20-pound bags of lawn garbage bags of Coke cans or beer cans, really. And I just started kicking shit down the stairs, throwing shit down the stairs, and I'm walking behind all 19 bags, just kicking them down the fucking floor to the first floor where he was at. And the weird response I got was, if you ever do that again, I can never come back and visit you. I'm like, well, I guess I solved the riddle then, didn't I? Because you want to know how I live and I show you and then you get scared and then you threaten me? Not threaten me, but, just like you're saying you can't help me because I'm not bad? Then who the fuck are you in the first place, man? And you never lived through it. And that's why I make these videos, to show people that people really do live through it. They go through it every day, every minute, like every second. It does not stop. It's not, it's like New York City rails, man, like subways. They stay on time and they always work. That's what anxiety is. That's what PTSD is. That's what CPTSD is. I got on a little bit of medicine about a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. It's really helped because people have me out like antipsychotics help with PTSD, but to an extent, like they can help stop nightmares or something. But like when you're on them on a functional daily thing and they're like, yeah, well, we think you have bipolar. I'm like, okay, I hardly have any up, so there goes that idea. And if you look on any website, like what's the difference between autism and anxiety? And then if you go from anxiety to PTSD and you go PTSD, and you just compare them, that list, which is only like 14, there's 7 that go across the board, like on each spectrum, on each diagnoses. There's 7 out of the 13 that all match. And it's up to the doctor to be like, well, I think you have this. Well, I think. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck what you think. Let's just try shit. And like, and that's the cocktails. It's like where they start just throwing you meds. Like meds will help you. Meds won't help you. You know what'll help? Human connection. That's why I'm making the videos. Is to try to tell people, if you listen to my voice, if you try to befriend me in a certain way, like I can't wait to hear from Doug again, like however weird I am or messed up I am, and you haven't seen me bad. I've been always trying to hold my shit together while I'm doing these videos. I'm gonna light this cigarette. Sorry. Disclaimer. But the point being is, like, if you really truly in your heart know that somebody feels exactly like you, that you're not crazy, that you don't really have any health issues other than health anxiety, because of the symptoms, like you physically fucking feel, like you can't tell me this ain't hurting or this ain't plunging or this ain't palpating or this ain't, they don't know what they're talking about. And I remember one time I went, this is like 10 years ago, but I'll harken back a little bit to give you a rendition. I went to a hospital and I was so fucking bad, dude. There's a whole story behind this. But I had a guy move in for a roommate, and I had my dog, which is a blessing. But I just went up and laid next to him, like, dude, I'm fucking dying, dude, because he's a nurse. He was a nurse. And he's like, damn, your blood pressure's, because he checked my neck. I said, feel my neck. And then he reached down and grabbed on me. No bullshit. I had no idea, like, what his inclinations were or anything. All I knew, he kept using a washer and dryer and like putting out like, I don't know, 26 loads of Tide. And I'd go home and try to do some laundry and it'd be like no Tide and shit. I was like, dude. And then he had people over and then a lot of weird stories to it. But he ends up taking me to the UK hospital. And because I told him, like, man, fuck, I didn't get real mad. I was just like trying to hold it in, like, and took him to the hospital. I'm in the hospital and I'm on a level 12, like bad. Like, I don't know how to explain bad to you, but bad is like, I can't even put it into words. And every test came back decent. Now, my blood work, as far as like, the cuff, it was horrible. I mean, they were reading like 202 heart rate, over like 194 over 144 or something like that. It was like this extreme. But they're like, we can't calm you down. So they give me this Ativan. And I already had my own lorazepam, whatever I was on at the time. And I had already taken like 2 or 3. And I'm like, dude, I can't calm it down. And I'm sitting there in a gurney in the middle of a frickin' hospital hallway. And they're like, oh, you're fine. And I'm like, dude, I'm fucking dying, dude. I'm fucking dying, dude. Like, seriously, like, something's really fucking bad, bro. And they're like, no, they said you're fine. And I had a nurse come by every couple half hours, some like hour. Oh, okay, well. And I'm telling them I'm fucking dying, dude. Like, no, you're not. You just have an anxiety attack. That's not an anxiety attack. That's a panic attack. 1. And 2, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Because you took my pulse. Take it again. Is it worse? Is it better? Don't tell me. I don't want to know. You see their eyes light up a little bit like, damn. I knew she knew. But there's nothing the hospital can do for that. These symptoms. It's got to be people contact to contact. And what I mean by that is like, we got to learn to be neighbors and like social and like build communities that understand us and hear people out and be like, yo, here's my story, or here's a little bit of it, and understand that other people go through it too, because that it really helps. Like, nothing will help you more than my videos if you just listen to them, because there's somebody who's actually going through it with you. And it's much different than a doctor saying, well, or a friend saying, you'll be fine, or are you okay? It's none of that. It's like somebody really walking through the same lines you are and then going through a recovery process. And again, I'm 13 years in, so I'm not saying it's like life ending. Like, it could be conquered, but it does quell, and it quells immensely. Where I get 3 good days, some months, and like, I used to be so bad, like I can't even remember, because that became traumatic, like where I blocked out. Like, my mind won't let me remember that, because if I do, I might go back to that. Like, so I always ask, am I better than I was 13 years ago to family? And they're like, oh my God. So I know there's improvement, and I just don't know how far that reaches yet. And that's a process I'm going with you guys, right? Is to see your guys' story. That's why I try to want to see comments. I've had 10 likes, 2 likes, 3 likes, something like that. And I'm like, I don't care about the likes. I'd rather hear the comments like, dude, I do it too. Or can you give me, some advice on something like that, on like a specific nicety or fine point that you're dealing with, and I might be able to help. And I'll write you back, or, I might be like, hey man, you post a video now, bitch. I'm just joking when I say that. It's not derogatory. It's just kind of a hangout word, like, hey bitch, man, what's up, dog? You know? Um, but no, it's all the above. But the the most enlightening things that I've seen are from real people that really talk to me, even if it's through a phone. And it was always people who are going through the exact same thing I am and knowing they are. Not some fuck shit, not some, okay, well, I used to, and I think I had anxiety, and I had it for 7 years, and they're totally different subjects. And when you suffer to a level like where you're in PTSD mode, it's like 80,000 times your anxiety. It just is. And I'm telling you from experience. And that's unbearable. And that's where the depression kicks in. The depression is not, and I've said this in other videos, the depression does not come from a bipolar situation or something. It comes because you suffer so much you can't see yourself going forward another year. And then that year, starts dwindling down because the panic attacks get worse and stuff. So it's a constant circle, and I just want to make a quick video. And I didn't mean to smoke in front of you guys. I'm going to take another drag of this thing, but I promise my next video will be when I'm bad. I'm going to be sideways on the couch, and I'm just going to talk to you. And I'm going to tell you everything I'm feeling. And that's going to hurt, because usually you don't want to expound or extrapolate on any of that shit. You kind of want to leave it alone. Because the second everybody's like, well, focus on that body pain. Focus on your breathing. Bitch, I can't breathe. My body fucking hurts. Like, organs hurt. Shit's fucked up, dude. I don't mean to yell. And you hear this crap, and you just know they haven't been through it. You just know. Like, it's just like, damn, man. You can't tell somebody to sit there and focus on the pain, whatever that is, inflictual or physically, because they're both the same. It's feeding the body, and it's doing damage, and your heart develops calluses. You can never die from an anxiety attack, but what happens when you have 2,000? You don't think your heart develops a callus? You don't think your heart gets bigger as a muscle? Nobody will answer you that, will they? No. So, if I can help anybody younger, or even my age, or maybe older, I don't know, who watches it, nobody ever comments or something. I don't know how to get on here where word gets out, like, hey, like, I'll keep rambling until you go to sleep. Because sleep is your best remedy. Pass the fuck out. Sleep. Especially if you don't have like the nightmares from the PTSD, but you just have anxiety. Go to sleep. Click on my channel, hit the first video, and it'll play all of them. And you'll hear my voice and just go to sleep knowing somebody has it. And you'll have some real wisdom behind it and be like, yo, I can nod off to it. You know what I mean? And I wish I had that. That's why I do this. I wish I had somebody that I could have just listened to and fell asleep to. All kinds of words of wisdom, all kinds of blemishes, all kinds of weird shit, weird facts, weird crap, weird stories, but knowing that they're going through it and it's a different lifestyle than theirs, right? So it's like, if I could have had that, I would have been much better 5 years ago. And I wouldn't have got 7 years, later and been worse. So I try to curtail anybody I'm talking to, their situation. Like, not make it get progressively worse, or just let it linger, or to think, well, let me Google this and do everything I did, which was probably the wrong move. Rather than deal with it and say, all right, okay. And had somebody there to say, you're okay, you're safe. And, all the things you need to hear, that you're loved. Those things are the most imperative things in the world, man. And to know like you're part of a community, you're not just, I think I'm the only one with this situation, or I'm worse than them. I have a brain tumor. I got heart disease. I got lung disease. I got liver failure. I got whatever it is, the health scares, man. Like, that shit's crazy because I did it. And had somebody just been online like me and just said, hey, look, I don't know exactly what you're going through. I don't know the dynamics of it, like, because we're all different. But our bodies kind of DNA are kind of the fucking same. They're going to react differently. I get that, But just to have somebody there to say, hey, you're not alone, dude. It's like an AA meeting, I guess. I never liked the idea of that, where you have to go and sit around and ruse and listen to other people's storylines that kind of make you more depressed or make you want to drink more because they're like, dude, look how fucked up he is. I'm not that bad, so I guess I can have another drink. It's not a sit around session. This is more like knowing some factual things where you're safe. And safety is the biggest word you always have to remember. And I'm going to start doing it. And I messed up jumping in a dumpster because she thought I took her box and just all kinds of crap. Like, why would I nobody would do that for me. Nobody. I don't think my twin brother would jump in a dumpster. Well, yeah, he would, but you know what I mean? Like, I don't think 99.9% of the world would ever put themselves in a position where they did that. But because I felt like they're hurt through empathy because of my emotional distraught modes, that if I can help somebody feel a little more secure, you're safe, let's get you checked out, let me get you to the ambulance, no, well, let me take you to my dad, okay, I'm going to take you to Lisa's, whatever transpired and happened. It's just knowing you have to learn the word safety and what that means. And a lot of people find safety, and that's why they get agoraphobia, is because their only safe haven is their couch, their bed, their home, and they can't leave it. And that's how bad it can get. It's where your only safe haven is home. And then you're scared to get out and drive. You're scared to just do things. Like, I'll do videos while I drive sometimes to show you how bad I get. But again, sometimes I worry, like, if I trigger people who listen to this channel or the videos, I'm scared they'll automatically trigger because they see me going through it. They're going to go through it. So I got to be very careful and mindful of how I cost the situation. Like, what can I show them? How bad can I show them I get? Because if you see me hurting, you're 99% smarter than half the people on the planet. Because you have to have a high IQ to have high anxiety. And that's just a scientific fact. You can Google that shit all you want. Probably 80%, really, not 50. But to see me go through something might trigger you. Because you'll be like, well, that's the guy I go to, and like he's going through like shit. And I feel that way too, and like I might exacerbate it if you watch the video at the wrong time. Maybe I'll caption it different if I do videos like that. But I do want to do all of them. And I do want to just help anybody that listens to this channel. But I don't care about a like. Likes help me know like what content helps people. So I like 10, 7, 2, 3. It's small numbers, and I don't care. If it helps one person, I got 2 followers. But the comments can certainly clarify the thumbs. Meaning that if you give me a thumbs up, oh, I guess they like that kind of video, so let me rewatch the video and then I'll do more content on that to help them. But the comment section would really help too. Like if you said, hey, you know, whatever the situation is, I'd be able to like extrapolate on it more and like maybe help you not get too bad. And if you are bad, I'll get you to it. Like I'll walk you through it. Just sometimes just listen to the voice, man. It's not all about taking it in information. It's more like there's somebody going through it just like me right now. And there's nothing that would have helped me more than to hear somebody actually, I have it, I'm dealing with it, I'm doing it, I'm getting through it. I think just to hear that would have done so much 10 years ago. So I'm utilizing the app. Never thought I would, just to help people. There's not a self-gain thing. The thumbs up kind of tell me, okay, well, there's somebody listening, which makes me want to do another one. But the comments are a big thing too. So if you can leave a comment on any context, like even if you like just say, hey, can you post another video? It's been a week. Fuck yeah, dude. You know, I got you, chick. I got you, dude. You know, whatever. I got you. But it lets me know like what to do. Because I'll get on here and rant anyway. You know, it's just not going to be as frequent if I know somebody's actually listening. And it's something that'll help you. Just knowing that someone's there and then you're listening to them and they're going through it too. And I'm much worse than, I don't know, 90% of the world. And I told you, I keep telling you guys, I'll post my conditionalities. I'll screenshot it or something and read it off to you. But yeah, I you know, again, want you guys to feel safe. And safety is not going to come through a rumination of the word. It's going to come through you understanding, like, yo, he's going through the same fucking shit as I am, dude. Like, you know, he's had agoraphobia. He still has it. He has trouble being in cars. Open fields are just as scary as a trapped jail cell. You know, like all of them are relevant. I can't go into Walmart without wanting to run. Like, you know, there's certain things I can do at certain days. Some days I can, some days I can't. If I got to turn around, I turn around. And I learn to co-balance it as best I can, given the degree and the things and my own infliction. But yeah, the thumbs up and the comments will help. So I don't know how long this video is. Oh my God, it's damn near an hour. I guess I went on a rant. Hopefully it posts. I'm gonna 58 and 27 seconds, something like that. So I'll turn it off before the hour and see if it posts. But love you guys. Just put a comment in if you hear it. I'll help you out any way I can. All right. You're loved and you're safe, man. You're safe. All right. Love you guys. Later. I don't know how to turn it off, so let me get that.